Quick review of the COVID data. Many of you, I'm sure you're watching the news and you're seeing this as well, but for the US, we are just about at 4 million cases, 70,000 new cases overnight, 143,000 deaths, that's 1,078 new. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, we're at 81,237 cases, that's an increase of 844. Done almost 970,000 tests, 18,000 new tests overnight. And I was reading, as part of the governor's task force, a big chunk of the reason why, well, a big portion of the tests that we've seen increase are actually retesting individuals. Now there's so many people positive that the state is having to retest all those folks. So we're seeing a big increase in testing really as part of the retesting as well as all the new cases. The positivity rate for the Commonwealth is at 7.7%, trending up for the last 5 days or 7 days. Henrico is at 5.7, relatively flat. Chesterfield's at 7.0, trending down. And Richmond's at 7.8, trending up for about the last 5 to 7 days. Hospitalizations in Virginia, currently there's 1,281 individuals in the hospital. That's an increase of 61. So we're seeing a lot more cases, and we're starting to see an increase in the hospital use as well. Now shifting gears to talk about the COVID situation here on campus. We continue to learn of new cases of COVID-19 amongst our residents and staff through all the ongoing testing in Parsons Healthcare Center. You'll recall that we have been routinely testing all of our Parsons Healthcare Center residents and staff, all the staff that work in Parsons, every week. So the results that we're getting this week are from last week's testing. Yesterday, we received a batch of test results from tests that were performed on July 15th. As part of that batch, we learned of a second resident in the Parsons Health Center on the first floor. This person tested positive and thankfully is completely asymptomatic and had no idea that the virus was present. Additionally, yesterday, we received results that 2 employees tested positive as part of that routine weekly testing. One is a CNA who works in the Parsons Healthcare Center on the second floor, and the second is an overnight security officer. Both are home now in quarantine while they recover. You will receive a memo this afternoon that has a full update of the full situation here on campus, but in summary, we currently have 4 residents in the Parsons Health Center with COVID-19 and 9 employees who remain off campus positive and recovering, and that there was the potential that these moves might take place. Tomorrow, sorry, I lost my place. Tomorrow, all 4 of the residents that have tested positive will be moved into this new unit, and we will have dedicated staff that only work in that area. Staff working in that COVID unit and working with these residents will be protected with all of the PPE required, including wearing N95 masks for which they've been fit tested to ensure that they're protected and that they have the best fit. They'll have gowns, gloves, eye protection, all the rest. All this protection is challenging to work in for the duration of an 8-hour or 12-hour shift. But our staff have all maintained a great attitude, and they're offering great care to the residents that are affected. I really appreciate the leadership of Sloan Verlander and Jennifer Caples, Sharon Posnanzik and Joanne, everyone who's been involved in getting us ready for this. This has not been an easy thing to plan. And even more, I appreciate the understanding of the residents and their families that have had to have been relocated. To the affected residents of Pavilion, I know this isn't wasn't what you desired, and I know it's an incredibly uncomfortable situation to need to move, but we appreciate the fact that allowing this move to happen allows us to provide the best care possible to our residents who've been affected by this terrible virus. So thank you very much for your understanding. As I said, tomorrow all 4 of the residents will be moving to the 3rd floor pavilion. So obviously the 3rd floor of the pavilion will be closed to all residents and staff except for the care teams that are assigned to be in that space. This is not a plan we hoped we'd need to deploy, but we needed to expect that an outbreak could happen, and our team is ready and has been ready, and the team from VDH very much liked the plan that the team designed. So we're ready to go, and we knew we might have to do this, and so we prepared, and we find ourselves ready to go. Next week, either I or Will Blackwell will share more about the deployment plan and how it's gone, and we'll get everybody moved over and settled, and then share with you what we know more. It's critical, it's just critically important that you understand that the coronavirus is as big a threat to this community today as it has been at any point in this crisis. We all of us need to continue to wear our masks anytime we're around anyone. We need to wash our hands frequently, and we need to practice social distancing. Please be careful if you leave this campus to go out for essential business. There is a lot of virus in the community, and it's impossible for you or us to know who might be infected. And the more people you interact with, the greater your risk of getting and spreading this virus. Your cohort of individuals you have to interact with should be very small, and you should try to keep it to that group, because the more people you interact with, you're interacting with every cohort of individuals that they have interacted with. And it can get to be a very big circle once you get out and you really start interacting with others. So for the good of the community, and even more importantly for your own protection, please keep those interactions as limited as you can. Lastly, a couple things. We do anticipate that we're going to continue to learn of more positive test results, and we'll continue to share the news as we get it. We keep testing, and we're going to keep finding staff who are positive and perhaps residents who are positive. This morning, when the staff from Virginia Department of Health were here, we talked a bit about the point prevalence survey and how the results would come back to us. What we learned, which I think is good news, is that they're going to get all of the results from the lab together and send us a list of all of the results at once. What we don't want to have happen is the results come back in dribs and drabs, and we learn about a little bit here and a little bit there. We'd rather get all the results back, communicate with everyone at once. We also learned this morning that individuals who are positive will be contacted by Virginia Department of Health contact tracers, which is the way it's been happening, but that was good to hear that they're gonna respond. Once they give us that list, they'll be contacting anybody who might be positive and start the contact tracing process. They did say results are slow to come back, and they're variable. Some are coming back sooner than others. So not really any way to anticipate it, but what they did say is that they have reached out to the lab that's doing our testing on our behalf to try to expedite these results because we have active cases on campus, and that kind of puts us at a higher priority. So as soon as we know more, we'll share it. They were pretty clear. We should expect it to be 2 weeks. And if we do that, we likely won't be disappointed. So I'll let you know as soon as we know more. Last thing for me, I just want to say a quick thank you to Mike from the Azalea Garden Center for all of his help as we did the grocery delivery process over there for all those weeks. Mike was super accommodating, super helpful. I know he's a good friend of many residents here, and we appreciate his help and collaboration, because it was a very challenging time, and his help was very much necessary. So thank you to him. Hopefully he'll watch this at some point. Next up is Scott Jonté. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Good afternoon, residents. I just have a few brief updates. First of all, beginning on Monday, July 27th, the Promenade will begin providing full a la carte service. As always, we request that you check in at the host stand. When you're escorted to your table, the wait staff will now take your order and bring you your meal for you. The purpose of this change is to enhance what we call our social distance practices within the dining room. Another big announcement for us is, again, on Monday, July 27th, for dinner, we're excited to announce that hand-dipped ice cream will return to the Promenade. I know that this will make many of the residents happy now that you'll be able to enjoy your meals, your desserts, and your favorite ice cream along with that. A couple other reminders. Please remember to arrive no later than 10 minutes before your reservation time, no earlier than 10 minutes. Always remember to wear your mask when you're entering and exiting the dining room. The only time your mask should be off is when you're eating. And lastly, a reminder, if you would like a copy of your receipt, please ask the host when you're at the host stand checking in for your table. Up next is Marty Kane from Finance.
Good afternoon. I am here today to review the fiscal year 21 approved budget and monthly fee changes. As we enter fiscal year 21, significant inflationary pressures exist, including average wage increases for our staff of 3%, utilities increase of 4%, food costs of between 2 and 3%, staff medical insurance of 8%, or approximately $200,000 a year, and COVID expenses projected to be approximately $800,000, included PPE supplies and COVID tests, gate checker salaries, and lost revenue related to our Child Development Center and Medicare billing. These inflationary pressures are in addition to compressed occupancies in our assisted living space due to COVID-19. As a result, Westminster Canterbury will be implementing a 2.75% increase in fiscal year 21 monthly fees effective October 1st. This escalation is in line and consistent with the historical fee increases over the past decade. Fiscal year 21 fees for other services will increase 3 to 5% effective October 1st as well. The updated fee schedule will be available the end of August. The Westminster Canterbury capital outlook calls for between 10 and 13 million in routine capital expenditure needs. The 21 budgeted major projects include the Courtyard and Avalon HVAC project and the Promenade Dining. The Vibrancy project will be ongoing in 21, including new Vitality and Wellness Center, a parking deck, and approximately 100 new resident units. In summary, this financial plan gives consideration for inflationary pressures and long-term disruption due to COVID-19. COVID financial impacts are real and include lost revenue from our Child Development Center, as well as increased COVID expenses. The financial goal in fiscal year 21 is to break even when we compare controllable revenues to controllable expenses. Cash flows are sufficient for operating and capital needs. This 2021 budget, as presented, supports Westminster Canterbury's organizational goals. That concludes my review of the 21 budget. Next up is Lynn McClintock.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lynn McClintock, Director of Pastoral Care. One quick programming note is to remind you that on Sunday afternoons at 4 p.m., we have a program called A Sermon for Every Sunday. And this Sunday's preacher is Father Michael Renninger from St. Mary's Catholic Church here in Richmond. So if you'd like some good preaching on Sundays, turn to TV 970 at 4 p.m. On Thursdays, we have been inviting our resident clergy to come and to share some thoughts with us, and we're very pleased and honored to have Reverend Fletcher Lowe with us here today. So welcome, Fletcher.
Good afternoon. First of all, I want to thank Lynn McClintock for the way in which she has been empowering and utilizing some of us resident clergy. This has been a real upswing for me, and I'm sure for others. I want to share with you a verse from Psalm 68. Blessed be the Lord who daily bears me up. Again. Blessed be the Lord who daily bears me up. You know, you and I have been through a lot over the past couple of months. And we heard more from John just earlier about some of the things that are affecting each one of us. You know, we've had lockdowns and quarantines. We've had masks, and we've had social distancing. And we've had travel restrictions. And on, all caused by that invisible virus that continues to disrupt your life and my life in these uncertain times. Added to that is the uncertain justice pandemic, with the Black Lives Matter call for racial justice, with demonstrations continuing and monuments falling. Amidst all of this, the psalmist has given us a breath of fresh air. As he says, blessed be the Lord who bears me up. With that in mind, let me share with you something that spoke to me recently. A Scottish mentor of mine, John Philip Newell, in a recent podcast, put forward an image from a 12th century saint, Hildegard of Bingen. The image from her writing was her reflection on how she was dealing with her own unsettled world, her awareness of what she was experiencing around her and in her. She saw that awareness as a bird. One of the wings was the pain and the suffering that accompanied her personal life. She had multiple physical disabilities. And then in that broader world that was around and beyond her, of illness and death, of conflict and war, of strained, filled, and broken relationships. But her awareness bird could not fly with just that one wing. The other wing was the beauty of life that surrounded her, the trees, the flowers, the celebration of a special ministry, the caring gifts of those around her. Now with this other wing, awareness was able to fly. Now how does that image relate to you and me? Like Hildegard, we're living in a world of uncertainty and its companions of isolation and anxiety and loneliness. With little light at the end of this seemingly long tunnel, we can focus, if we want to, on the personal disruptions and on the pain of others we know, plus the world's pain from this virus and from racial unrest that we daily read and hear about. But our bird will not fly. Something is missing. We need the balance of the other wing, the wing of the healing environment in which we find ourselves, in the beauty of nature so abundant on this campus, and of the beauty of the caring gifts we receive from our dedicated staff. Add to that the generosity of friends and family, and the time to discover anew what really matters in life, including perhaps a deeper commitment to God. Isaiah, 2,500 years ago, underscores this bird image with its own. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Let me read that once more. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. I invite you to join with me in taking Hildegard and Isaiah seriously and to heart, that we balance our lives with the wings that help us fly and soar, that renew our strength, that bring us much needed hope when we are weary. So for now, whenever you see a bird in flight, remember your own wings and the psalmist's reassuring words, "Blessed is the Lord who daily bears us up." Amen.